Hello and welcome to Watkins Glen for the 7th round of the FVR GT Championship. My name's Nathan, your commentator for this race, and joining me in the commentary box, as he has done for most of the season, it's Zav. Welcome once again.
Hello, yeah, good to be back once again for round 7 of FVR GT here at Watkins Glen. Very high-speed circuit here, definitely a driver's track, one where the guys on the grid can go and make the difference. But shall we see who's made a difference in terms of their starting position from qualifying to the grid here, Natty?
Indeed, we shall. At the back of the pack from the 10-minute qualifying session is the current reigning world champion. Jenson Taylor starts last. I don't think he set a time in qualifying, and so will start this race in 12th place. Let's see how everyone else lined up in front of him as I just send the link to the stream into the chat. We have got this in front of him in the Porsche. He starts 11, just outside the top 10. Working our way into the top 10, Evan Dalton starts 10th, just 1.5 seconds off pole. It's Kian in 9th place behind Tim in 8th, and that Red Bull Nissan that we see so often this season. It's my teammate, your former teammates, James Kidwell in 7th place, only 4 hundredths behind Cameron Hill, who starts in 6th place, behind Adam Hans in 5th. Less than 600 separating those three drivers in the midfield. The second row of the grid, it's Piero in 4th, 5 hundredths behind the current championship leader Maurizio Valtois in 3rd. But the front row of the grid, it's the winner from Saint-Croix. Shea Easton starts 2nd, and it's Tyler Davison, the winner from Interlagos, on pole position for the sprint. It's Watkins Glen. We've got a sprint and a feature this week, and I think it's going to be an interesting race.
Yeah, definitely some opportunities here for the championship to swing in a big way. I believe 5 points, separates Tyler Davison and Mauricio Valtois at the top of the table as it stands so far. So yeah, definitely a big opportunity here in terms of a championship. But yeah.
We are ready to get the sprint underway. Zav, would you like to do the honours and kick us off for the sprint?
I'd be delighted to. Shall we get ourselves underway then here for...
Let's do this.
A slightly shorter race format. We also often see the sprint spur up a lot of action. We had a brilliant triple overtake from Piero last time out in Spa, and they're underway once again. And Tyler Davison with a good start in the Peugeot leads them away down in towards turn number 1. They're 4 wide in the background. Valtois' championship rival moves himself up into 2nd place now. Davison still leading from Valtois to 2nd. Adam Hans now goes around the outside of his teammate Shea Easton as they rise up the hill now through the right and the left, and Davison's got a massive lead already. The Mercedes pressuring the back of the McLaren up the hill now. It's locked in the wheel tracks, and they're 3 wide. Taylor on the inside, your reigning world champion, hits the wall in his attempts now to get past Evan Dalton as they rush down the back straight. Davison still leads. Hans in 3rd, challenging Michel Valtois. Starkey down the inside of Cameron Hill into the bus stop, one of the fastest sections on the track here. They're still side by side, door to door, twitchy from the Mercedes, but Cameron Hill with nowhere to go ducks back into the slipstream at this early stage of the race. Definitely survival on his mind there.
Everyone survives the first lap. A penalty, though, for Tim. That will drop him down the order at the next penalty gate. A bit of grass being kicked up on the exit as the two Team Spirit cars go side by side through the uphill right-hander. It's Hans on the inside of Easton and stays in front for now. Runs a little bit wide on exit. The front two have got a bit of a gap. Hill runs wide off the circuit. He will lose a position to Kian, might lose another one to Piero that pulls alongside the Audi R8. Both Audis now side by side down the hill, but it's Piero in front. Kidwell trying to get a move done on Dalton, who's made up a place at the start of the race. Jensen as well started from the back. He's kept it nice and clean in front of these guys. This on the inside of Hill, the Audi off into the barrier, doesn't get any damage. But elbows out at the start of the sprint. Taylor looking for a move on Kidwell. There might have been contact between those two, but they all survive the first lap. Davison leads with his championship rival behind.
Yeah, definitely a bit diced there between the Porsche and the Audi. Stu's not have a look at that one. The car on the outside getting pushed off into the wall there as he flicked down through the grid to down to Astro and Tiger Assassin. Astro down the inside of the Englishman in the Lexus, gets the move done, under braking. Can Tiger try and get the up and under? And no. So a poor first lap here from the Brit. He's slipped back a few positions into 12th now. Don't forget, we do reverse the top 8 positions as well, though, for the main feature race. So the driver in 8th right now, which currently stands at Cameron Hill, he will be on pole, or is on pole at the moment for the feature race. In the meantime, though, can Tiger come back at the Nissan in front of him into the bus stop chicane? Does he have a look to the inside? Stays behind him just for now, can't make a move. We know how good that Nissan is actually in a straight line as well, so maybe that Lex is just not having the overall run to get past the Nissan at this stage.
Yeah, started in 7th, dropped down to 12th. It's 5 positions lost on the opening lap. I think probably one of the biggest losses we've seen so far this season. It's been quite a chaotic but calm start at the same time. A penalty for Easton on lap 2. I don't think he'll lose a position to Kian Pierre, who's also got a 1-second time penalty, presumably for cutting the bus stop chicane. This on the inside of Hill makes the move done up into 7th place, but they're about to see a couple of cars slow down in front of them. Pierre defensive to the inside, going down the hill in towards turn 8. It's the Audi R8 on the inside of the other R8 in the battle for 7th place. Hill's going to try and hold it around the outside. We'll have the inside line for the uphill left-hander at turn 9, and the Brit gets that move done, demotes Pierre down to 8th. But pole position for the feature, if he can keep it. As I say that, he's in the barrier, loses 2 positions to Dalton and Tyler, who moved themselves up into 8th and 9th place respectively. Taylor from the back of the grid, now up into provisional pole position.
Yeah, that was, again, that corner looking to be a bit of a problem for cars going side by side, looking like Hill just understeered out into Pierre and unfortunately put the Frenchman into the wall. Again, I think the stewards should be having a look at that one really as well. Pierre unfairly forced off into the wall, now carrying damage as well. That will fix itself, but it does still affect. In fact, it has just fixed itself now. We are running weak damage here, but that has cost Pierre a lot of time now, and more importantly, cost him track position. Not the easiest track to overtake on here, even in GT3. So Pierre has a lot of work to do now if he wants to recover something from this sprint race. With Jenson Taylor looking to move further up the grid now in his pursuit of Cameron Hill, goes on the inside into the bus stop. Can't make anything happen of it though at this point in time. Can he have a look up the inside into the next right-hander? Cameron positions his car nicely there, doesn't give Taylor the opportunity, but now on board with your reigning world champion. Can he make another move on Cameron? No, defends the inside line there nicely and just keeps him at bay for now, but stitching with the Porsche in front, definitely helping him out in terms of a straight line fight as well. But later on the brakes, can he try and get the cutback maneuver? He's going to go for a late apex here, try and square off the corner and give him the traction advantage over the Audi. Does Cameron go defensive? He leaves the inside open. Does Taylor go for the gap? Sticks his nose in later on the brakes, goes down the inside and makes the move on Cameron Hill there, up to 7th place for Jenson Taylor. If he can keep it, Cameron doesn't have another look into this tricky left-hander, which caused already some incident earlier on in the sprint race. But Taylor now up into P7, looking at P6 as well, into the penultimate corner. Can he ever go up the inside? Yes, he does. Makes contact with the Porsche, but does go through into P6. And what a move there from Jenson Taylor.
Yes, Jenson on a charge through the field here in the sprint. We end lap 3 of 4. We're 5 minutes into the 15-minute sprint. Tyler Davison has got a healthy advantage in this race. Valtois under a bit of pressure from Hans, who's showing great pace at the start of the sprint race. Currently in a podium position, scoring great points for the Team Spirit team that are still in with a shot of the Constructors' Championship. They're only in 5th place and only 31 points off the top. And with a sprint and 3 races to go after this, it is still all to play for. Both the pink Mercedes scoring great points in this race. Taylor as well trying to recover a slow start to his title defence. Dalton's picked up a 1-second time penalty, which won't help his chances of championship glory, as a Hill nearly loses it on the exit of the bus stop in between the Porsche and the Peugeot.
Yeah, I think a lot still to play for in this fairly short championship. Cameron Hill, they're going down the inside of it's going down the inside, makes the move stick there. Sorry, I don't know what brain part there. She does get past the Porsche now up and towards P7, so that actually does still put him on the front row for the feature race. But Evan Dawes will be looking to change that though. Unfortunately, he's picked up a 1-second penalty for track around here. Piero will now get past him. Ditto for Tiger Assassin and for Astro as well. So Evan Dalton there falls down into 12th and last place on the road as it currently stands. Tiger Assassin looking to make some progress back up through the field after that rather calamitous opening lap for the BCR Esports Lexus. He's now all over the back of Piero's. Oh, that could have been a very poor crash there. Kai this is the racing even, sorry, moving very late in defence against the Audi. Probably not the best defensive move to pull there into that corner.
As these guys battle for feature pole position, Cameron Hill picks up a half-second time penalty. The easiest corner to do it here is on the exit of turn 1 or through the bus stop chicane in between turn 4 and 5, where track limits are really easy to extend when these guys are pushing flat out. Hans is pushing for a second place. He's side by side with the McLaren, the current championship leader. Defensive to the inside, down the back straight. How late will Hans send it round the outside? Veldhuis fends beautifully on the inside. Hans, though, will get a run down the hill through the long swooping right-hander at turn 5. I think, though, Veldhuis will stay ahead, but he needs these crucial points whilst Davison's leading in order to keep his championship hopes alive. Only 5 points between them, like we were saying, and whilst Davison's only outscoring him by a couple of points so far in the sprint, every point matters at this late stage in the championship, and Hans has got his teammate Easton right behind him to maybe give him a little bit of a bump draft to aid this overtake.
Yeah, I think it's looking like a good day for Mercedes so far as well. Third, fourth, fifth for the manufacturer. As Adam Hans now looks to the inside on Maurizio Veldhuis. It's going to be big for the championship here. Veldhuis has him covered under braking, but goes wide. They're still wheel to wheel. I mean, we've seen so many crashes up at this corner already. Hans on the outside line into the marbles. Veldhuis defends and keeps a position for now as they head now back down towards the main straight through the high-speed left-handed little lift, a dip and a downshift before the final corner. But two Team Spirit cars are also racing each other. There's no team orders down here at Pink Mercedes, and Veldhuis now coming under pressure from both cars, and Jensen Taylor now in the background as well, looking to get in on the action as well. As head on towards lap number 6 now, the latter stages of this sprint race. As we look now down towards, Piero going down the inside of the Porsche. There's more contact between the two into turn 1. This is getting very feisty. The elbow is very much thrown by Piero, and he muscles his way past the Porsche and up into P9. But it's not over yet, because now the Red Bull Nissan of Astro is hot in the wheel tracks of the Audi. What do you pull out to the left-hand side? You know how good that car is in a straight line here. They're going to go door to door, are they? And Piero's just gained a position. Is he about to lose a position? Now Astro on the inside into the bus stop, breaks later, gets the move done, and puts himself now back up into 9th place.
Such a heated battle for these positions just outside the points. Points being awarded for the top 8 in the sprint, as the race leaders have picked up a couple of penalties on that lap. Easton on the inside of his teammate, but with a 1 second time penalty. Taylor as well picking up half a second penalty somewhere throughout the lap, so they're going to drop a couple of positions. This might bring Kian into the battle for a top 4 finish. Hans stays in 3rd place. Jensen gets past Easton, who drops down into 6th place, and it was looking like a great result for the Team Spirit drivers running in 3rd and 4th, now 3rd and 6th. Remember, they're 31 points off the top of the Constructors' Championship, but are down in 5th, and I think they have got most of their drivers inside the top 6, so it's a great result from them in the sprint. If they can keep this pace into the feature, it's looking a great result for these guys, but it's so close in this battle for 2nd place. We've got this train of about 5 cars, which could foreshadow quite an interesting feature race.
Yes, certainly, and they were getting some good racing out of it as well, that is for sure. Davison's the only person who's looked comfortable in this race. He's disappeared so far. I haven't really had much to say about him, but in that Peugeot, just really going strong, pumping in the lap time, staying consistent, and then letting the battles happen behind him, basically. And yeah, untouchable so far in this sprint race. Piero as well here, still trying to make something of it, try and chase down the cars in front, try and put himself on that reverse grid pole for the main feature race. Astro now in 9th place. Tiger Assassin currently holds reverse grid pole, though. Ducky as well must be having a much... Taylor's wide! Taylor's wide there in the grass. Doesn't lose position or anything, but yeah, a little bit of a mistake there from Jensen Taylor, which we have seen unfortunately a few times this season. Veltois are now just visually now, that gap looks like it's actually grown up a little bit now as well. So maybe Taylor having a go at hands, losing time to Veltois. Going to go and try and work it around the outside through the hairpin, get the up and under on hands with the traction now, turns it into a drag race between the Lexus and the Mercedes. Jensen Taylor, it was cold, it was calculated. Can he get the move done down the inside? Oh, later on the brakes, he looks like he's got it sewn up. Yes, he does. Goes up into P3 now and will start chasing after Veltois, the championship leader. And now for P4, P5 and P6, it's Mercedes versus Mercedes versus Mercedes.
And with only 2.5 minutes left in the sprint, I think these will be the final 2 laps when we cross the line in the sprint. It's currently James Kidwell that holds reverse sprint pole. He's got a little bit of a gap to the cars around him based on what I can see on the mini-map. Indeed, there you can see in the background going through the final corner, he's a couple of seconds behind Cameron Hill. So it looks like the front row of the grid for the feature race is nearly set in stone, but of course we cannot tell until they cross the checkered flag. The battle, though, between where they start on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th row of the grid is still yet to be decided in this long train of cars that make their way through the S's, being led by our championship leader, Maurizio Veltois, with the current reigning world champion behind him in hot pursuit, Jensen Taylor, who started the sprint from the back in 12th place. And after 8 laps of racing, he's already up into a sprint podium position. Of course, he will be starting a little bit further back for the feature race, but the great race pace shown in the sprint, if that can translate on into the feature race, then Davison might have some defending to do, although will start in 8th place. Taylor, though, looking to try and mount a late championship defence and get past Veltois as soon as possible. Okay, his best opportunity down at turn 8, and he's done it many times before in this race. He's going to do it at turn 7. He's going to have a look in turn 7. Veltois leaves him the room, but now they have a long back straight to determine this battle for 2nd place.
Yeah, and Taylor now ducking into the slipstream. Veltois goes defensive. They're going to go side by side into turn number 9 now. Veltois on the inside, later on the brakes. Can Taylor get the up and under, get the traction? Yes, he can. He's done it again. It's the Taylor take back, and he takes back P2 there from Maurizio Veltois there, and doing a big favour actually to his fellow countryman Tyler Davison. That now means that Veltois scores fewer points compared to Davison in the sprint. That championship gap is closing before we even get to the main racing action tonight. Taylor from the back of the grid up into P2. It's a long shot, but can he chase down Davison for P1?
He's got 40 seconds until we get the final lap announcement, and with a lap time of 1 minute 44 seconds, this will be the last lap of the race. He's got quite a big gap. 8 seconds is Davison's race lead. After 9 minutes, of course, they have been squabbling behind. Easton might be looking to try and score some extra points here in the sprint, in this battle for a top 5 finish. Keane's done a great job here tonight. This could be, he could be on course for one of his best race finishes, even if it's a sprint. Of course, they start the sprint in the order they qualify, so it is on merit as well. Defensive into the bus stop chicane. The battle for feature race pole position may yet to be decided. Tim has caught up to the back of James Kidwell. There is the announcement of the final lap of the race. So they've only got half the track, about 2 miles, before they cross the line to determine their grid slot for the feature race. Easton's ride onto the grass. Could that be track limits on the last lap of the race? I think he might get away with it. Indeed, he does. But that will hinder his pursuits for a top 5 finish.
And I really thought we were going to see a pink Mercedes pirouetting into the barrier there. Very wide for Easton on the last lap. He's now stuck behind Ducky, and that's 30. Yeah, maybe dragging the front out a little bit. But the man who no one has been able to drag themselves in front of is Tyler Davison, leading by example, leading from start to finish. Every single lap, fended off the drivers that he needed to. Rounds the final corner now for Tyler Davison to take a crushing victory in the sprint race here and to decrease the championship advantage of Maurizio Veltois. He crosses the line in P1. Taylor from the back of the grid to P2. Veltois weaves the line to break the slipstream. He will claim another podium finish, but his championship lead has been cut. Tiger Assassin will be on reverse grid pole for the feature race, and Piero will round out the top 10 even, with Kai and now Evan Dalton will cross the line to be 12th and last of the finishers from the sprint race. And what a race it was. I think it set us up nicely for some good action here in the feature. But yeah, what a race there, Natty. Anything to add?
Lots of elbows out that we saw in the midfield, and with some of the front runners now starting in that midfield, we could see quite an action-packed race here tonight. Davison winning the sprint in Sardinia. He won the sprint in Watkins. Glen unfortunately finished second in Spa to miss out on the hat-trick. But after that race, I have just done the calculations. With Davison winning and Veldhuis in third, there is 1 point separating the top two in the Drivers' Championship. Veldhuis still with the advantage, but only by one singular point. And with 3 races to go, Watkins, Glen, Spa, Lago Maggiore, this is going to be a show-stopping end to the season, with drivers like Jenson Taylor, myself, Shea Easton still in with a mathematical chance of claiming the title, but it's looking more likely to be between Veldhuis and Davison.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a 1v1 mono title decider, I'm hoping for. The gap is still very small between them now. I think it's come down to 3 points now going into this race. It's a 6-point difference, I believe, Natty, between first and second in terms of where they finish in the race. But a lot of work from Mauricio Veldhuis and Tyler Davison to complete before they can cherish the rewards of victory. Anyway, Tiger Assassin on the front row, I believe for the second time this season, I think that's it, I want to say.
That sounds correct.
I think for the second time this season, yeah.
I think so, yes.
We'll go with it either way. But he will be looking to try and convert something from the sprint race, in the feature. Maybe claim his second podium of the year as well. So I have nothing else to add, Natty, unless you do. Shall we hop over to the 5 red lights and the rolling start here for the feature race?
Indeed, we will. Let's just quickly go through the qualifying, or not the qualifying, but how the grid lines up. So the bottom 4 remain as they were from the sprint. It's Evan Dalton at the back, followed by this in 11th. Piero starts 10th behind Tim in 9th. Winning the sprint, Davison starts 8th, Taylor in 7th, Veldhuis in 6th, Hans in the top 5. Kean Malord in 4th place, Shea Easton in 3rd. Cameron Hill starts on the front row of the grid with James Kidwell on pole position for the rolling start, which he's very much a fan of, as we know from last season.
Yeah.
He got the sprint pole at Road Atlanta and then lost it by the end of lap 1.
Hopefully there's not a repeat of that today.
Let's see if Kidwell can keep the lead at lap 1 here tonight at Watkins Glen, as the drivers make their way down the start-finish straight. For the rolling start here tonight, we've got 23 laps here of this 5.5 kilometre circuit, and we go green in the Glen. Kidwell leads us away down the start-finish straight, ahead of Hill in second. Single file as they make their way down in towards the first corner. No dramas at the opening corner, but they now have quite a long back straight to negotiate, and there's nice slipstream for Cameron Hill behind, who's under pressure from Easton. Hans already trying to let his way past Ducky in 4th place, but the other Mercedes eyeing up a move on the Audi R8. It's Hill ahead of Easton. The Audi defends to the inside. It's the left-hand side of the circuit, going in towards the bus stop chicane, but they all find their way filtering through in single file behind Piero, looking for a move into 10th place, backs out of it, and most of the drivers, I think, still in the same position as they started. 5 corners into this race. Kidwell leading from Hill. Easton picks up a half-second time penalty, the first of the feature, but certainly not the last.
Yeah, it's going to be looking out for those track limits penalties as things progress, but a strong start from Tiger in the Lex, the British 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As it stands, as Veldhuis goes down the inside, looking to change that statement, goes down the inside on Jenson Taylor now, and Taylor looking to respond, retaliate immediately. Davison as well in the slipstream. Your championship rivals together on track. Remember in Interlagos when they made contact, Veldhuis defends the inside. Davison now Will be looking to get the up and under. Can he make a move here around the outside into turn 10? We've seen so many crashes here earlier on in the sprint race, but backs out of it, but on the grass and almost into the wall was Tyler Davison there in his bid to get past Mauricio Veltois and further decrease that championship advantage. But I just want to cast. Oh, he's going down the inside, is he? At the final corner, no fear from Tyler Davison, and he muscles his way past Veltois, who is now under pressure from Tim, puts him into the pit wall to defend 8th place. The elbows are out, Tim's down the inside, but Veltois even has it covered off. And what an exchange that was between the championship protagonist Tyler Davison, showing he has absolutely no fear when it comes to wheel-to-wheel combat with Veltois, and gets himself past and up into 7th place. What a move there, and what action as well.
We're 2 minutes into a 23-lap race, which should end up being about 45 minutes. Not only have the elbows been extended, they're now well out of the cars. They've wound down the window, and they're just waving their elbows out at this point. Tyler Davison up into 7th place. Quite an aggressive start to this race. It's going to be a long one. It should be an interesting on the strategy as well. So maybe some of these drivers are looking to try and get a jump at the start of the race. The tyre wear is quite high. I'm seeing a couple of medium runners and a couple of hard runners as well. Interestingly, Davison on the mediums, Veltois on the hards. So the championship rivals are splitting the strategy. For my calculations prior to this race, it's going to be either a medium hard or a medium soft. We'll have to wait and see what these drivers go on to. I think if you start on the hards, you're going to finish on the mediums. But how will the two-stop fare to the one if we see anyone try it?
So is this Veltois then trying to be a little bit more tactical with his tyre allocation, going for the hard tyre early on, taking the pain early on, but having that 20-30 seconds of race time already banked by having one fewer stop essentially than the cars around him? It all depends on what kind of gap he can keep to Tyler Davison whilst he has that tyre disadvantage. The top 5 absolutely nose to tail there. Let's a sandwich with Tim going down the inside now on Veltois, going backwards in this race on that hard tyre, but committed to it now. And we'll have to wait and see if this is the right call for him, really, because at the moment you'd have to say that whilst you're not going forward, getting stuck in that dirty air, it's just making the tyre wear even worse. Those hard tyres are not going to be great. The car's heavy with fuel as well, so it'll be a very long stint here for your championship leader at present.
Yeah, I feel like I think it's an interesting decision to start on the hard tyres. For those starting on the mediums, they have the flexibility of going onto a 2-stop or a 1-stop. By going onto the hards early on, you're really committing yourself to the likelihood of a 1-stop strategy. He's now down to 9th place. We've seen the hards work before at some tracks. It might work here. Easton's picked up a 1-second time penalty. He could lose a couple of positions with his teammate and Taylor, close up behind him. He pulls off the racing line. His teammate goes through. The reigning world champion goes through. He stays in the top 5. As Davison might look to send one down the inside, backs out of it in the end. He needs to remember he is still the hunter in this championship fight. He goes into this race behind on points, ahead of his rival though, so he is currently in its advantage Davison. But we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. It's still plenty of laps for this race to be decided, and we've already seen how aggressive they were in the sprint.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's going to be interesting to see here how Davison and Veltois approach this race. Obviously, Davison can be a bit more gung-ho with it. He is still, as you're saying, Natty, the hunter, not the hunted. But at the moment, with the points difference being what it is, that would be changing. So right now, Davison will become your championship leader if it were to finish like this. I highly doubt it will finish like this, but if it were to, that would be the scenario of the state of play headed into the final 2 races of the season. I think that Jenson Taylor, though, really is the big spanner in the works here in Watkins Glen, because whilst he's still stuck in, I believe, 4th or 5th place at the moment, we know how quick he is, and he could really be a thorn in the side of Davison or Veltois looking to score a few more points at the end of this race.
Yeah, definitely. He's already up into third place. He's going for a move around the outside of Adam Hans. He gets it done on the exit of turn 5. Our race leader has picked up a 1 second time penalty. This time he's waited 4 laps into the race rather than 2 corners before picking up a time penalty. He's on course to lead the lead of the race to Cameron Hill. But these penalties from the front runners, they're just bringing our championship rivals who started further back from the sprint in contention to score more points. He's going to run side by side with Taylor, who gets passed up into second place. Hans is going to try and launch it round the outside, runs a little bit wide onto the marbles, but will get a good run up the hill in towards turn 9. We've seen a couple of moves here in the sprint. He looked to send it down the inside, but thought better of it. That could have been a crash into the barrier if he'd have decided to send it. It's now Hill who leads the feature race from Jensen Taylor in second. James Kidwell in third place ahead of Adam Hans in fourth, and Shea Easton rounding out the top 5. 2 Team Spirit drivers worked well at Spa to get past one BCR driver down the Kemmel Straight. They might look to work together to get past the other here at Watkins Glen.
You're still thinking about that overtake, Matt?
I am, yes.
As I said, yeah, so Tiger there with the track limits penalty now drops down into third place. It's going to be Team Spirit. Well, I'm sure their team principal, we hope they're working together, but they're not doing it at the moment because Davison now looking to go through on one, if not both of them, as Easton gets onto the grass here. And whilst Hans had much better pace around Watkins Glen so far this week than he had so many other races of the season, he's not doing his teammate any favours right now as they try and push one of their cars up onto the podium. Davison as well with the best seat in the house to watch this, and a job that's just been made a little bit easier because Hans now has picked up a 1.5 second penalty, and he's managed to dispatch Easton as well in that same sequence. So as we were just saying, how Davison needs to get past both Team Spirit cars, well, he's done exactly that, and he'll be up into P4 by the time we get to turn 9, and now he will have just Tiger Assassin, Jensen Taylor and Cameron Hill between him and a second victory in a row. He'll be the first driver this season to take back-to-back victories if he can do it, I believe.
That might be correct, unless Taylor won in Jensen Taylor won in Laguna Seca and Sardinia, the first back-to-back of the season.
Second driver
would be the second, yes.
Back-to-back winner in FVR GT this season.
As it stands, Taylor is in hot pursuit of taking the lead of the race as we're about to end lap 5, start lap 6. He's got Cameron Hill in his sights, who's had a tricky season since converting from the controller onto the wheel, but is still scoring some great points for the Cabbage Crew team. They are joint top of the constructors before going into the sprint with the Peugeot racing team of Davison and Dalton. Taylor, though, still in a mathematical chance of winning the constructors with Piero. They are 5th and 6th in the drivers, so both similar in terms of their race results this season. Taylor's trying to claim his 3rd win of the season, and as he is all over the back of Cameron Hill, will he look to send one into the bus stop chicane? He's not going to be close enough on this lap round. Behind them, Davison's trying to get himself into a podium position, and in the midfield, I don't know what's happening in the midfield. Veldhuis has dropped down into 11th place on those hard compound tyres. Pierre and Dalton have both gotten past on the mediums. Are the hards not really working at the start of this race, or is it just going to have to be short-term pain, long-term gain?
Well, it looks like it's a lot of short-term pain. If it is a 48.5 for Banner Big last lap, it's a 46.6 for Cameron Hill out in front, some 2 seconds a lap slower than the leaders. I don't think the hards are the right way to go. Veldhuis is losing so much time out there, Natty, so much time, and really it's jeopardizing his race now with Davison up into P4, not that far off the leaders, and again lapping 2 seconds quicker than his championship rival, ducking with Evan Dalton getting pushed out of the way, and there was another car off in the background. I believe it was Piero who went off there, but some contact there between the Irishman and the Englishman into turn 8, and that, a sequence of corners again where we've seen another incident there. But Evan Dalton goes up into 7th place for now. I don't know if his Stu was only having a look at that one, because it looked like he came from behind and just muscled the Mercedes out of the way into that corner there.
And what this is doing, this is really impacting Veldhuis' race. He's finding himself in the midfield towards the back of the pack, being caught up in these squabbles with these drivers on the medium tyre. By my calculations, the one stop and the two stop are very similar in terms of net race pace. But when you're stuck behind these cars in front, getting in that dirty air, wearing out your tyres, you do begin to hold yourself up as Taylor's looking to work with Hill. Davison and Kidwell are side by side through the bus stop chicane. Round the outside goes Davison, moves himself up into a podium position. Easton's going to go through on the inside as well. James loses 2 positions in 2 corners. He's going to try and fight this one back to the outside. Count the Lexus, darts it on the inside. No, he can't. The Mercedes gets ahead. Kidwell now down into 5th place, having started from sprint pole position.
Yeah, that's a tough one there. Tough sequence of corners for the Lexus driver. 2 positions lost in 1 corner, more or less. And Easton and Davidson now go up into 3rd and 4th. And just a word to say for Cameron Hill. What a job he's doing so far. What a good job he's doing so far. He's been leading this race at the moment, not picked up any penalties, and it's just been, very solid so far. Kind of a drive we're used to from Cameron in the past, but one that we haven't been treated to as of recently. But things going very well here for the Englishman in the Audi, defending very well again from Jenson Taylor. So good job from him so far in the early stages of this one here, Natty. And still at all UK 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So some regional diversity is needed here in FVR.
Yeah, with Cameron leading the race, he's got his last race win at season 2 at Tokyo South, round number 5 in that one. His last podium came last season at Kyoto, round number 7. He's one of several drivers who claim a podium in every FVR GT season he's raced in. Hasn't picked up one thus far this season. We'll be looking to try and keep that statistic going. He's on course to, at the minute, currently leading here at Watkins Glen ahead of Jenson Taylor. At this rate, as it stands, the new championship leader, Tyler Davison, in 3rd, in a strong position with his rival flicking through the grid. Now down in 10th place, looking to make it into 9th. He's side by side with Kean down the back straight. The McLaren on the inside of the Mercedes, late on the brakes and through the bus stop chicane, gets himself ahead. Are we perhaps seeing the hard compound tyres coming into play? Kean's also on the hards, and looking at the wear, there's a little bit more to the front of Tim's mediums, but not too much on that Nissan.
Yeah, as I'd say, it looks like maybe that we're seeing those hard tyres now start to work for Veltoys, and this race is starting to come back towards them a little bit as well. Astro ahead of Veltoys will keep an eye on that gap. It's actually critical for his race. Pierre now making a move down the inside of the Mercedes as well. But Veltoys are able to make overtakes and start to come back at the cars around them.
Keane's going to look to maybe send one on the inside of Pierre that covers that inside line. I think Veltoys is hoping that these guys battle behind them and don't hold him up too much. Of course, it's their every right to go for these moves as Jenson Taylor takes the lead of the race from Cameron Hill through the final corner. And I'm not sure that was a mistake from Cameron. He's lost 1.1 seconds to his personal best. And it looked like Taylor had the move done before the apex. He might have gone a little bit out of shape through the penultimate corner. Davison is catching up to this battle for the lead of the race. He's bringing Easton with him. Behind them, Kidwell's just dropping off a little bit from the top 4, but has a gap behind to Adam Hans and Evan Dalton, who are in this battle for 6th place. We've kind of got 2 train of cars forming, the one for the battle for the lead, and this battle behind Veltoys, the hard runners, towards the back of the pack.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that the race is starting to come back towards them though now. Taylor, let's see if he can just kind of pull away out there in front, but Cameron Hill will be looking to try and stick with your reigning world champion, and Tyler Davis will be looking to try and get past them both and stamp his authority now as the top dog in FVR. Taylor pulling away though as it stands, as Davison goes wide onto the grass there again. We saw him do that, so we saw Easton do that even towards the end of the sprint race as well. Those medium tyres maybe giving up the ghost a little bit for Tyler Davison. That could actually be a good sign for the Richo Veltoys down in P9 as the medium tyres start to wear out a little bit. And when do you think we're expecting to see sort of these first stops here, Natty?
I think medium runners should be looking at lap 13, give or take a couple of laps. We're on lap 9, and although they're looking good on the Peugeot, there is that kind of exponential increase once you reach 50% where the tyres begin to rapidly drop off the cliff. So maybe lap 13 is the earliest we'll see. I'm not sure about Veltoys. Depends whether he can keep enough life in those hards to maybe go into a soft compound tyre, but I don't think we will see a one-stop for the softs. They've only got about 7 laps in them, 4 or 5 good ones, before the soft becomes a medium, essentially. So I think we should look at lap 14. I mean, of course, my tyre wear is horrendous, so my testing could be completely irrelevant for this race. They're still looking good on the Lexus. They're looking good on the Audi. The rears, though, beginning to drop off on that RA, and that could be why Cameron is starting to struggle a little bit. There's quite a few traction zones here. You can see on the minimap lots of hairpins, especially in the middle part of the lap. That could be bringing the Peugeot and the Mercedes back into this battle for second place.
Well, also in like the medium and high speed, that Audi is so slimy. It's so sort of unstable almost on the rear that you kind of always work the tyres a bit harder in that car compared to others, just to drag the lap time out of the car. A different way that you have to drive the Audi, and it could be hampering Hill here around Watkins Glen. Obviously a lot of medium and high speed corners where you are pushing that tyre, where you are overexerting them, a bit like Catalunya, which is a high tyre wear circuit, as well as Tyler Davidson now chases down the Audi in front. The mirrors of Cameron Hill are going to be filled with blue, white and red as your new championship leader now tries to chase down his fellow Englishman and move himself up a further spot on that podium now, getting ever closer to the Audi in front through the high-speed left-hand, the penultimate corner here at Watkins Glen. Can he duck into the slipstream? Can he make a move into turn 1? Will he set him up? Going into the bus stop now as they complete the final corner and complete lap number 10. It's going to be a 46.9 here, still in the 46s for Tyler Davidson. So interesting to see here what kind of lap times he's able to drag out of that Peugeot now as they head up the hill for the 11th time here. Is Davidson anywhere near close enough to have a go into the bus stop?
Doesn't look like he'll be close enough on this lap, but has been gaining it. Hill's now in the 47s, so Davidson's still lapping in the 46s. I don't know why we have sprints so close to the end of the season. I know I make the calendar, but it's so hard to try and calculate the points as it stands, because whilst the leaders in the constructors are level on points, this battle between Hill and Davison will be crucial in that battle for the constructors, but also Evan Dalton in 7th place, outscoring Maurizio Veldhuis as it stands, albeit one on the medium, one on the hard. Speaking of, where is Veldhuis? He's only in 10th place, so Hill outscoring Davison, Dalton outscoring Veldhuis. They could still be level on points going into Suzuka if it were to finish as it is. Maurizio doing a 48.3 on the last lap. He's still over a second off for the race leaders. Jenson Taylor with a 46.1. And I think, I was saying this earlier, starting on the hards, you really do commit yourself to that one-stop strategy. I think he's just got to keep going 11 laps into this race and just go onto a medium. Taylor's wide onto the grass through turn 10, I think it is.
Do that today.
A lot of people making mistakes, really pushing the track limits here at Watkins Glen. It is a fast, medium fast circuit, so you are really pushing the white lines, and that could be why we see so many track limits from the race leaders. James Kidwell from pole position finds himself in a bit of no man's land, behind the battle for the top 4, but ahead of the battle for 6th place.
Yeah, as I say, it's going to be a bit of a lonely race so far to look into for Kidwell at the moment. Obviously, as you're saying, it's kind of equidistant there between Easton in 4th and Hans in 6th, but this will still be good points for BCR if he can indeed bring it home. He also finds himself in the 1 minute 48, similar pace then to Veldhuis behind, but interesting there to see that he's actually fallen backwards. Last time we checked him on the McLaren, he was up in 9th place, he's gone back now down to 10th. I assume he's lost the place there to Piero somewhere in that exchange, but yeah, this hard tyre run, as you were saying before, Natty, he does have to brave it out and take the pain, but he is going to be not a very happy bunny, I think, once this race is done.
Yeah, I'll wait till he gets to 40 seconds, cut up to the race leader, and the lap time's a minute. He is 20 seconds behind Jenson Taylor. That is a pit stop gap here at Watkins Glen. The pit time loss is about 22 seconds. So if Taylor is on a 2-stop, Veldhuis is still in a decent chance of a solid result. It's just, when does Taylor pit? He's on that margin. If Taylor were to pit now, but he's still setting competitive lap times on those medium tyres. We've seen him struggle for tyre wear before. He two-stopped at Laguna Seca. I think he two-stopped at Dragon Trail. No, he didn't. He didn't finish Dragon Trail.
He's going to stay out. He's not
Does stay out for another lap. And so we were looking around that lap 13, 14 mark. Looks like some of these drivers might be extending that.
We have a car in.
Do you have a car in? It's Easton into the pits with a half-second penalty. Kidwell stays out. So Easton is the first driver to come into the pits. Hans, I don't think will be into the pits. No, I think he will be into the pits, in the next couple of laps. That front left is shredded as he picks up a half-second time penalty.
Yeah, so they say, I just saw one car. You can tell when the cars are committing to the pit lane because you have to take a very different line into that final corner. Veltois into the pits.
But what tyre is this for?
What tyres?
I don't think the mediums can go 20 laps. Is it a two-stop on a soft? Is it a hard medium soft? I'm waiting to see what tyre this could be for.
Earth?
He's off the white striped hard. The yellow striped medium goes on. Has he not got the confidence in the tyre life to go longer on the hards? Is this converting to a two-stop? Can he take the mediums to the end? So many questions that need to be asked. We've got 20 laps for them to be answered.
Yeah. I'm
10
looking
laps,
at the tyre. I'm looking at the tyre wear of Davison on the mediums after 13 laps and just thinking there's no way that Veltois can make those tyres last 20 laps. That's a very confusing call there from the McLaren team.
I don't know. I think I've not had enough coffee or something this morning, but there are only 10 laps left in this race. Sorry, we're on lap 13 of 23, not 33 here at Watkins Glen. This is the tyre life of Davison on the mediums after 13 laps. So Veltois will be going to the end on the mediums. Apologies for that slight little hiccup.
No, to be fair, that's on both of us.
As James now up into fourth place after a couple of the front runners pitting. So are these leaders then? When are they going to pit? Are they on the two-stop? Are they going to end this race on the hards? Can they stretch it to the softs? At least we still have some questions to be answered. We've answered most of the ones that we've asked, mainly because it is too hot in my room.
Let's see what tyre. We'll blame it on the heat.
Blame on the weather.
Okay, here we go. Hans, let's see what tyres he goes on. That's actually going to be interesting because he's on those medium tyres, of course. Does he go to a set of the hards, or will it be softs to the end for Adam Hans?
I'm not sure the softs will make it to the end. If he's only taken the mediums 14 laps, almost like a general Rowan Gran Turismo, the softs can last half a medium. It is the hard compound tyre with 9 laps to go. Not confident in the tyre lap, in the tyre degradation on those softs. Veltois gets the jump up into 9th place. Hans was running inside the top 5. Veltois running in 9th. He could still be a contender for a podium position here. He's on the mediums. It's now going to be crucial whether the race leaders pit for hards or can they extend onto a soft. That could be Veltois' crucial championship deciding moment.
Well, if it looks like the guys out in front are going to have to go for that hard tyre, then certainly it puts Veltois in a very favourable condition. But I think Davison's got at least a couple more laps of life in that tyre yet. So I'm sure he's not panicking too much, but still stuck here behind Cameron Hill as we enter that 14. Taylor stays out for at least one more lap, and we're getting now towards that threshold where the softs could get you to the end of the race fairly decently. But just cast your mind back a week ago, Natty, when we were in Interlagos and we saw Veltois hit just that little bit too early and go onto that set of soft tyres, and he really paid for it at the end of the race. With the fresh and medium tyres on now, even if Davison, Hill, Taylor all come into the pit on this lap, at the end of the race their softs are going to be shredded, and Cameron Hill is trying to defend from Davison now going to the outside. They're going to go wheel to wheel into the bus stop. Davison on the outside, Hill tucks back into the slipstream, doesn't make things too difficult for his fellow countryman, and Davison now goes up into second place. But as I was saying before, with the soft tyres potentially being dead at the end of this, if Veltois is cutting through the field on fairly fresh mediums, it could get very interesting between the title protagonists at the end of this race.
It could indeed. interesting to see how this race plays out. Of course, I wasn't here for this race. I was away, and so this is the first time this season that both of us don't know the end result. I've not watched anyone's stream. I've not seen the race results. I didn't see any incidents reported actually in the stewards report, which is great to see that this race might end cleanly. We'll have to wait and see. So Veldhuis in 9th place, his championship rival in 2nd, but hasn't yet made a pit stop. Piero with the fastest lap of the race on the set of the soft compound tyres. And so if the Audi's going to the softs from lap 13, I think our race leaders could be going to the softs. Tim now on the inside of Evan Dalton in the battle for 5th place on the track. Dalton trying to score as many points as he can for the Peugeot team with his teammate up in 2nd place. Hill running in 3rd. And with Davison beating Hill, as long as Dalton beats Veldhuis, then it's looking good for them in the constructors. Tim stays ahead. Cameron's into the pits. If the other Audi's gone softs, this could also be for the softs as the front two stay out for another lap on mediums.
So they're definitely trying to bank up a bit of a advantage for themselves at the end of this race, trying to make sure that their soft tyres are in no danger of falling off the cliff at the end of this one. Pitbull even also comes into the pits from P5. He will most likely be switching to a set of the red striped soft compound, and these are all going to be drivers now that Veldhuis will have to overtake if he wants to salvage a good result from this race. Let's see how far he is behind Piero roughly. He's not too far behind the battle for 6th at the moment, as Kidwell loses out there to Piero coming out of the pits.
And we're in a very great position here for between now and the end of the race. Kidwell behind Piero on much fresher softs. Easton in 5th on the hards. It's going to be interesting to see when Piero and Kidwell catch up and how they get past Easton, how he defends. And Veldhuis on those medium tyres, he's going to be able to set quali lap after quali lap to the end, albeit on a slightly slower tyre. But he's going to have the grip at the end of this race. So this could be very close in the battle for 5th place. And with the crucial points up for grabs in both the drivers and the constructors, we might see a couple of extended elbows from this man right here to try and get that position. And with a couple of drivers in front of them trying to still hunt for championship glory, their elbows might be a little bit wider as this battle for 9th place between Tim and Hans. Hans is going to try and go around the outside. Our race leader is into the pits at the end of lap 16. Adam Hans is still in, technically, the constructors' fight with his teammate Shea Easton. This could be 3 wide down in towards turn number 9 or 10 as Tim on the inside of Adam Hans, the Mercedes, trying to swoop it round the outside. Has got the traction exit to go for it on the inside. We've seen a couple of incidents in the past at this corner. They go through it cleanly at the apex and at the exit. Keane just sat behind for now, trying to find a way through. These guys all battling for crucial points at the end of the championship. Davison's in and out on the softs. Will rejoin in 2nd place. His teammate Evan Dalton still being serviced into pit lane and could come out in this battle for 9th place, unless these guys have held each other up a little bit too much, battling for position. Oh, this could be close actually at the apex of turn 1. You can see the cars going through on the left hand side of the screen. Dalton's being released from pit lane. Keane's on the inside of Adam Hans. The Irishman's behind this battle for 9th place, but on a fresh set of the soft compound tyres. Keane's on the mediums, Adams on the hards. We've got all 3 different tyre compounds on the track as it stands. The Mercedes side by side, Keane on the right hand side of the track, Adam Hans on the outside for the bus stop. Are they going to go side by side? They are currently side by side. They're still side by side. Adam Hans lifts off the throttle, lets Keane go through. It's great battling for 9th place. Great battling here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, I was going to say Adam Hans, I think we'll look back on that exchange not as fond as I believe we did. Obviously, this race has gone a little bit worse for wear for him. From the sprint to now, but still a very good show that they're putting on here as Cameron Hill now actually keeping up with Tyler Davison on those soft compounded tyres. Davison goes wide as well. So what I'm more interested to see is this Easton Piero Assassin Veldhuis thing, because out of these 4 you could argue
Kidwell's going to send one down the inside. Late on the brakes, and that's a beautiful move up into a top 5 finish. Hasn't finished in the top 5 since round 1 at Dragon Trail Gardens. He's currently in top 5 here at Watkins Glen, scoring great points from the BCR team with a great move on the inside as Pierre's tyres are beginning to wear. Do we think he's on a 2-stop with 5 laps to go? He's already at 50% wear, and he's only done 4 laps on those tyres.
I think it's pointing towards that. My question was, could Piero catch Easton before his tyres died? But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Oh, he's off! Oh, Easton's off. He's in the grass, and that's going to make Tiger's job a lot easier now. Kidwell goes around the outside, up the hill, into P4 now, goes the BCR driver. And I was going to say, Easton struggling on those hard compound tyres. This is another position on track, going to be very difficult for him to repass Lexus, as Kidwell does the fastest sector one of anyone as well in his pursuit now of a potential podium finish.
I mean, I don't understand this guy sometimes. You know, at the end of the sprint, but at the start of the sprint, he was 12th place. He was stone dead last. Lap 18 at a feature race, and he's in the top 4. The pace difference between the sprint and the feature race is really interesting to see here at Watkins Glen. Likewise with Adam Hans, he's now towards the back of the pack. His teammate Shea Easton trying to defend on those hard compound tyres from Piero on those dying set of soft compound tyres. He pulls over aggressively to the inside to defend that position. Piero avoids and goes to the right hand side of the screen, left hand side of the track to try and swoop it right round the outside, down in towards, I believe it's called the boot. They still run side by side as Piero tucks in behind, doesn't decide to send it like Kidwell did on the lap before. I think Piero's almost fighting a losing battle. He's going to be into the pits sooner rather than later, I think, but it's best to try and hold up your rivals as best you can if he's going to try and challenge back in the second stint. And there we go. He's into the pits.
Oh, does he touch the yellow line there? That was very close with Piero. If he didn't, but yeah, getting to the 2-stop, then another 5-lap stint on the soft tyre. That Audi really not looking after its tyres well at all, but that could be big problematic news for some of the guys currently on that soft tyre if it is only lasting those 4 or 5 laps, especially as well. I think about the man on screen, Cameron Hill, also driving that Audi. He needs to look after those tyres if he wants to hold on to this 3rd place, because Tiger's charging along nicely. I'm trying to compare lap times quickly between those two. So 45.3, 45.7 for Kidwell last lap. So Hill's still with a little bit of a pace advantage in that Audi. But yeah, going to be a grandstand finish to this one, as Veldhuis now looking to close on the back of Easton. It looks like there's been a mistake. A little mistake maybe, but either way, Veldhuis now trying to close down on the pink Mercedes.
He's currently in 6th place, looking to try and finish in the top 5. Veldhuis is the only driver this season, along with Tyler Davison, to finish on the podium in every race. He's the only driver this season to finish on the podium in every race. Davison's missed Dragon Trail Garden, so technically didn't finish on the podium in that one. So Veldhuis has got 6 podiums this season. It's unlikely he'll make it 7 from 7 and might end up losing the championship lead as a result. A top 5 finish, though, I think will be a great recovery from the hard tyres. You can see the hard tyres not working well for Easton, sliding his way through turn 10. And the gap, we'll see the lap times when they cross the line in a couple of seconds. But if we're looking at the drivers inside the top 5, we've got 5 different teams in the top 5.
It was funny there to see that after that little slide, Easton's virtual driver checked his rearview mirror, which means that we know that Easton was looking behind him after that spin to see where is Veldhuis. I know he's there, I know he's coming, I know he's quick. So just looking in the background after that little mistake there, but Veldhuis closing the gap, will be trying to get back up into that top 5. Damage limitation, I think you are right in saying in that he went for what ultimately was the wrong strategy. I think 5th place would be good. 4th place for Veldhuis would be a bit of a miracle, to be fair, and for his team actually as well. With Cameron Hill in P3 as it stands, that would be a very good finish if he can get into the top 5 for them in terms of the Constructors' Championship. Cameron Hill already waiting until the last 3 races to pull a podium out of the bag.
I think it's going to be a good confidence boost as well for Cameron Hill to finish on the podium. He's got a podium in every FVR GT season he's competed in. I think Tyler Davison and Jensen Taylor are 2 other drivers to accomplish that. I think Veldhuis got a podium in season 1 as well, if not definitely season 2. So it's a great start to continue going on into season 5. And like you were saying, in the Constructors, it's between the Audi and the McLaren of the Cabbage Crew, Cameron Hill and Ritzer Veldhuis. And the Peugeots of Davison and Dalton, they're level on points going into this race. If Veldhuis can move his way into the top 5, he will score a couple more points to his championship rivals. And I've got to try and work it out between now and the end of the race. We've only got 4 laps to go, but that gap is closing between the McLaren and the Mercedes. We're about to end lap 20 and start lap 21 of 23. There's 3 laps to go and less than 2 seconds between this battle between Easton and Veldhuis for the top 5.
Yeah, things get dicey here. We've seen many elbows thrown so far this evening. There could be a few more yet between now and the checkered flag. 47.3 for Easton on the last time, and if we can check Veldhuis' times 46.9, so 4/10 swing in Veldhuis' advantage on the last lap. Those medium tyres though wearing down admittedly more than either.
Oh, we're going to cut off! No! Cameron Hill's off in the barrier! And we're not watching this sync, so we can't watch.
Just as we were praising how much of a good job he was doing, Cameron Hill has dropped it at the high-speed chicane. Oh, gets air over the first jump. Unlucky there over the grass. And to be fair, it's a costly mistake. It's a costly mistake. But because he has that big of a gap back to Kidwell, he should get away with it. He should get away with it, but that is a big crash there for Cameron, and now Kidwell will be smelling blood in the water. That gap will have come down significantly. He does have the fresher tyres. Can he get past Cameron Hill and claim his second podium of the season? Stay tuned for the last 2 laps of Watkins Glen, because this is going to get very interesting now.
I was talking about how a podium would boost his confidence. That certainly will not. This race isn't being streamed live. I do not know the results, so I think we can cross off commentator's curse from the list. I don't think that counts, as this isn't live, so we haven't actually cursed anyone.
Commentator's curse a replay. That's the first time that's ever happened. It gets very overcast here at Watkins.
Maybe Cameron's just a little bit bored and is wanting to make this race a little bit more entertaining for himself. That gap, though, has come down. Easton's picked up a 5/10 penalty, and that will definitely hinder his chances of a top 5 finish with Veldhuis, I think, probably roughly a second behind the Mercedes. That's enough to probably get past with the penalty alone. It is quite a costly penalty gate here at Watkins Glen. The penalties, a general rule for the penalties is you double the time you get, and that's how much time you lose with the momentum lost down the straights. This is a great opportunity for Veldhuis to finish in the top 5, having started lap 2 or 3 at the back of the pack on the hard compound tyres. We have lost a driver actually in the name of, I'm not too sure, but we'll find out at the end of the race.
I'm sure. I think
it's this actually, in the Porsche. Sorry, is retired from this race. Unfortunately, and only his second start in FVR GT.
So Easton now coming under significant pressure. That 5/10 penalty will be costing him, as you're saying, actually about a second, and Pays Veldhuis looks well positioned to take P5 away from Team Spirit here, as they now round the final corner before the final hairpin before the penalty gates. Is Astro behind has also picked up a 1 second penalty. Now Veldhuis on the power. You're going to see that Mercedes in front of you disappear, and does disappear, falls behind the McLaren. Now Veldhuis up into P5, but can he defend it now going on to the last lap of the race, as Jenson Taylor now putting in a very a performance we are very familiar with him doing, basically getting out in front, leading by example, and going on to dominate, looking like he's going to take his 3rd win of the season. And it has been a hard fought one for your reigning world champion, an upset here in the championship standings for sure, relegating Tyler Davison down to 2nd place.
Indeed it will be. We'll keep an eye on this battle for 5th place as well. Veldhuis has the tyre compound advantage and track position. Easton, though, has the tyre life advantage on those hard compound tyres. Are we going to see those hards come into play towards the end of the race? Is Easton going to have quite an influence in this championship fight between our main 2 protagonists? Of course, he's still mathematically in with a chance of the constructors. They're only 31 points off Cabbage Crew and Peugeot Racing. And so the Mercedes driver will be trying to score as many points as he can this week. Adam Hans just running inside the top 10 after showing great pace in the sprint. Finished, I think, 3rd or 4th in that one. Unfortunately, the sprint pace has not translated into the feature race. But a pace that translates well, whatever track he races at, just kicks up a little bit of grass onto the racetrack to make life a little bit harder for the drivers behind. But he's about to ride the final corner for the final time. It's been 23 laps of perfection from Jenson Taylor. He started the sprint at the back, but at the feature race, he wins here in Watkins Glen to take his 3rd win of the season. The only driver to win multiple races this season. Tyler Davison will finish 2nd for the 5th time this season out of 7 races, but will take the championship lead off of Maurizio Valtois with only 2 races to go at Suzuka and Lago Maggiore. It's a first podium of the season for Cameron Hill. He makes it a podium in every season of FVR GT he's raced in. It's James's best result of the season since Dragon Trail in 4th place. Valtois with a top 5 finish from the back on the hards. Easton in 6th place on those hards. It's been a great second stint for him. Tim will finish in 7th ahead of Evan Dalton in 9th. Outscoring Keane in 9th, and a close finish for 10th with Adam Hans in 10th, Piero in 11th, just about stopping the replay in time. But a great race in Lago Maggiore. The championship swift changing the tide from Valtois to Davison.
I was going to say that could be a serious statement in the championship. Valtois falling at the final hurdle, perhaps, here with 2 races to go after leading the championship for the first 7 rounds of the season. That has now come to an end as Jenson Taylor reminds everyone that just how good he is when he is able to show up for a race, gets another victory over the line. And I was going to say, that's why he is the reigning world champion. But it will be Davison versus Valtois, and everything to play for in the final 2 races. But I have not much else to add, so I'm going to hand it back over to Natty, because that was also a very good race, to be fair.
It was an excellent race, and we'll run you through how the championship looks. I haven't been able to update the constructors, but the Peugeot racing team will be extending their lead, or I say extending their lead, take the lead over the Cabbage crew, I believe, with Evan outscoring, actually no, it could be quite close. So I'll keep you updated next week at Suzuka with those results. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, Davison now with a 5-point lead going into Suzuka. And with 6 points for a win, if Maurizio wins one, Tyler wins the other, fastest lap point could determine who's going to win this championship. They both only have 1 race win to their name. Davison has got 5 second places. Valtois has got 4 thirds, and so as it stands, it's advantage Davison. Behind them, the battle for 3rd place tightens even more. Myself scoring no points, of course, not entering this race on 87. Jensen moves up into 4th on 84, and Easton on 82 in 5th place. So it is still all to play for a top 3 finish. I'm not sure I'll be here in Suzuka, so you might be joined by the beautiful Zav for that one. As I am on holiday, a well-deserved rest, I think.
A well-deserved rest.
Yeah, and then we'll be back for Lago Maggiore for the final race of the season. And so with that, we'll join you next week in Japan. Goodbye.
Let's see you.